Hi and welcome to DIY Ideas. Today I'm going to show you how you can make your jeans a little bit wider and while doing it still keep this top section the way it was. So I'm going to show you how not to rip the top part but then still to have everything, and then this is also going to stay in place. So let's get started. Okay, so today we're going to need a couple of things. We're going to need fabric scissors, something to measure with, pins, then thread in matching color. I took the brown that usually matches the thread that jeans usually have, but it might be different with your jeans, so make sure you take a look and see what the color is in your case. Then of course a special jeans needle for your sewing machine, since jeans is a little bit thicker fabric so that your regular one doesn't break. Then an unstitcher is what I have here, so that we can unstitch these stitches and make them wider. So yeah, then we're also going to need a little bit of another jeans fabric just so we can make it wider. So the little triangle section is what we need. You can take a different color or the exact same color, whatever you have or can find or would like to get in the end. Or you can make it really contrast by taking a really dark color. In my case, the light with the dark are also going to look good. So it really depends on what you want to do, but you can take a similar type of fabric or a completely different one. Both is going to look interesting. And if you have a top band like this that you can use from your old pants to replace the one on top, that would also be perfect. So now we need to take a look how much we need them to be wider. So we're basically going to measure with our measuring tape all around and see how many centimeters we're missing. And then what we want to do is measure from top to the bottom like this so that we have this measurement. So basically on the side from the top all the way to here, and then we're going to have the length of our triangle, and then here you can do the same thing on the other side. So in my case it's about 20 centimeters, and then I'm going to put a pin in there just to keep everything in place and so I know where my mark is for later, and then we'll move on. So now here is the mark that I have. So what I want to do is unstitch the stitches up to this pin. So we're also going to unstitch this entire top section so that we can get to the middle. So it's going to take a little bit, and then we're going to do that all around with the top section, and then we're going to do this middle stitch. So yeah, this is the step that I want to show you. So then we're going to put in the triangle section, and then the band on top is going to stay the exact same way. So then instead of making it look weird on the side, we're going to do the back side here. So here you're basically going to have a piece of fabric that looks like leather that jeans usually have. So this leather piece, we're basically going to mimic that so that we can hide the extra width that we did. So now that we unstitch everything, we can get to our triangle, so the thing that's actually going to widen our pants. So what we want to do is take a little bit of fabric, it doesn't really have to be much, and then we just need the necessary height and width for it. So I took a different color this time, but as I said, you can take the same color as your jeans or a completely different one. That's absolutely up to you. And yeah, so now that we have an ironed piece of fabric that's straight, we're gonna mark straight line once for the width and once for the height of our triangle. So I have here a ruler or hand gauge, you can use anything you have, and then I'm gonna do 5 centimeters of width here and then 2.5 from the side. So then I'm gonna add 1.5 for the stitches so that everything fits. So I'm gonna mark 5 centimeters, and then that's gonna be my width. There we go. And then I'm also gonna mark the middle. So I just have a midpoint here so that we can follow on that with our triangle so that it looks the same and is symmetrical on both sides. So now I'm gonna measure 20 centimeters. That's what I need for my jeans. It might be a little bit more or less for your jeans. My band was 4 centimeters, so I'm gonna do 4 less than the 20 I measured. So that means that I'm gonna do 16 centimeters for my triangle, and then I have 1 centimeter more just so I have enough for the stitches. And then I'm gonna mark on the bottom where my triangle is gonna stop, and then I'm just gonna connect the dots to get the final triangle shape. And yeah, what you want to do is leave a little bit of room here on the bottom and not do a really sharp point, just so you have a bit more room to work with when you're doing your stitches. It's going to be a lot easier that way. And then when we're done, we can cut this out. So now that we have 2 pieces that are exactly the same, what we're going to do is do an extra stitch just to make sure it doesn't fray later. So since I don't have my band from the other jeans I just did my triangle out of, I'm going to use a third pair of jeans that I'm going to use the band for. So you see here I have just the top left over, so I'm going to use this, and I'm going to take a look if this is the exact same width as is the original pair of jeans, and it is. It has 4 centimeters, which means it's going to work perfectly with my pair of jeans. So you're not going to be able to see that it's black later. We're going to cover that with the fake leather etiquette, so you can use any color you like. And now we're again going to do 5 centimeters in length, since this is the width that we need on our original pair. So yeah, I'm going to mark that, and then I'm going to cut it out, and I'm going to unstitch the bottom too. So if you don't have a band left over that you can use this from pretty much any other type of fabric to make kind of a fake band. And then you just want to do a double layer of fabric so that you get the exact same shape as this one. So you can use anything else that you have at home if you don't have another pair of old jeans to use. So now that we did all of these prep steps, we can get to the actual stitching. So I have here my triangles, and I put the one triangle already in its place. So pretty side on pretty side, aligned with this stitch right here. So we're gonna pin that, and then we're gonna stitch that up, and then this section is gonna come on top so that we connect the other open side of the triangle with it. So first this stitch we're gonna do, and then we're gonna do the other one when we turn it the other way around like this. So we're going to do 2 stitches total, and it's not going to be visible in the end since it's going to be on the inside. And then we're going to do the band on top later. So you can see here what the little triangle looks like. It's pretty subtle. It looks like it's already a part of my existing jeans. So yeah, it just looks really good. You can't really see any stitches on the outside. They kind of disappear into the fabric, and then you see how lovely the bottom looks. So where the tip of the triangle is. So now we're gonna do our band here on top, and you wanna make sure you know where you want it to be on the back. So I usually have it above the pocket of the right side. You can do the left side or anywhere else, whatever you like. So yeah, just make sure that this width corresponds with the length of your band. So if we had 2.5 centimeters here, or a total of 5 on both sides, then I want to do 5 centimeters as well here. So yeah, now what we want to do is basically just put this on the inside so that it sticks. So what we want to do is mark where it begins, and then we're going to cut there, and we're going to insert it and then stitch it back up. So just make sure you also remember that you're going to need stitches, so you need about 1 centimeter on each side for that. And then we're going to put the pretty side on pretty side, pin, do a stitch there, then turn it the other way around, and then do the same thing with the other stitch. And here just make sure that since the stitches are going to take up a little bit of the fabric, that you have enough, so a little bit over 5 centimeters. So now that everything is unstitched and cut open, now what we want to do is align the two halves and then stitch them up. So I took this apart because if I did just one piece a little bit thicker, then I would have a really ugly stitch here on top, or the risk of having an ugly stitch would be a little bit higher than this way when I do it separately. So what I'm going to do is basically do one half first and then the other. So same thing, pretty side on pretty side, then I'm going to do a stitch there, and on the other side exactly the same thing. And now this is going to be the first step of this part. So I'm going to do a regular straight stitch here, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side to connect that. And then later we can do one more stitch over here just to make sure everything stays in place. So here on top. Okay, so this is what it looks like, the two pieces together now, or in the middle of the old band. So I had to use a little bit thicker yarn here, a little bit thicker thread, so that it fits. And yeah, when you're done with that, then we can get to the stitching up of the rest of the band. And with jeans, it's easy since you can't see where the band was. It's usually a different color on there. So yeah, we're just going to pin that, and then we're going to basically go over the existing stitch, or the stitch that was there before we unstitched it. And then we're going to put everything back together so that we have our old jeans back, but with a new width. So yeah, also make sure that you don't forget this little section where your belt goes. So this is what it looks like now that we're done with all of the stitches. I think it looks pretty good. So here with the bottom stitch, I did it a little bit more slowly than what I usually do, since the fabric is a lot thicker than what I usually work with. So yeah, just take your time and make sure everything is nice and neat. And now what we want to do is make a fake etiquette here on the back so that it looks like original jeans and so that you can't really tell we put another piece inside to make them wider. So yeah, if you had a similar color, you actually wouldn't have to do this, but in my case, I wanted to show you what this looks like. So I have here already a piece from an old pair of jeans that I'm going to be able to use. So if you have that, that's perfect, and it's going to take a lot faster to do, or you can use any kind of fabric that looks like it has a similar color, and then you can just cut it out, cut it a little bit wider so that you have enough room to fold it like this and then put it over the black section that you want to hide, and then you can shorten it to make sure that everything fits so that the size is perfect. So when I say shorten, I mean these sides here, so left and right, and then we would just stitch it onto the fabric. So I pinned this now so that it looks exactly the way I want it to, and now I'm gonna do stitches all over on all four sides. And yeah, here is my finished result. You can see how nice this looks, and you can't really tell that it wasn't on there a moment ago. And yeah, the triangle looks really good, so I'm super satisfied, but let me know what you guys think. And if you'd like to see more videos like this and many more, feel free to click on the subscribe button, and if you click on the notification bell, you're gonna get notified every time I post something new. If you like this video, feel free to let me know by shooting a thumbs up, and thanks for watching DIY Ideas. I'll see you in one of our next videos. Until then, have a wonderful day. Bye!